The odor of human entrails engulfed Major Barrett's senses as the video feed depicted the gruesome scene. The Zerg savagely devouring the screaming astronauts near Mars. Nothing could have readied humanity for such blatant carnage and violation. Rage boiled within Barrett, his knuckles white as he clenched his fist. The quantum railgun, though untested and unstable, stood as humanity's only hope. Failure to activate it meant the extinction of mankind in orbit. Zaker and human ships clashed in fiery chaos. Barrett observed the Black fighters darting around the massive Zerg vessels, attacking supply ships with focused fury. In the control room, AA stared at blinking red error messages on the monitors. The capacitors for the railgun surged dangerously, she said evenly to Barrett. These power spikes could blow the whole railgun system. Barrett turned to the screen, showing the captured Zerg scout ship as it approached Camp Armstrong. Inside, the Zerg crew hissed and snarled in confinement. "Why are you here?" Barrett demanded coldly. The aliens clicked in reply. "Your race is insects to be crushed," one said through the translator. "The Zaker Empire rules thousands of worlds. Your end comes soon." But their boasting revealed useful intelligence, a weakness in their whole alloy. When struck at a certain frequency, it became brittle as glass. One mistake meant oblivion. Barrett devised a daring plan, a cosmic game of chess. Disguised in the scout ship, his team would infiltrate the flagship. "A message for humanity," they whispered. "We will not cower." In the hangar, the EF strike team boarded the alien ship with quiet purpose, weapons ready. Barrett took the pilot's seat, his resolve burning steady. They drifted toward the massive Zerg vessel, ready to execute their command and give humanity a chance. Failure was not an option. They entered the enemy's gaping hangar, prepared to show the galaxy that humans were deadlier than anyone thought. Barrett and his team moved through the tight corridors of the enemy flagship. Dim blue lights cast shadows on the walls, resembling guts more than a ship. Their boots clanked softly on the metal floor, helmet displays flickering as they walked the maze-like halls. The alien tech was nothing like human ships. AA guided them from Camp Armstrong with quick commands. Barrett nodded, eyes scanning for danger. Danger came as a Zaker patrol, tall with too many joints, skin like oiled leather. They passed unseen, thanks to AA's hacked signals. The pulsing power core loomed, shielded by alien metal. Barrett set charges at key points, focused on placement and timers. Precision was vital. Static cracked over the comm. "Barrett, they got me in the east section," Harper said. "Calm but urgent. Stay put. We're coming." Barrett's choice was instant, a soldier's creed. AA guided them frantically through the maze back to Harper. They found Harper cornered by a Zerg squad. Before the aliens reacted, Barrett's team struck with precision. Weapons fired in bursts. Harper broke free amid the chaos. Now with Harper, they retraced their steps urgently but calculated. Time slipped away as the charges ticked down. They passed open cells filled with defeated aliens, each marked by servitude. Silent pleas followed their escape. A vow passed between them to return and end the Zerg tyranny. The sprint to their ship was a blur of motion and narrow escapes. Once aboard, they launched clear of the flagship. The charges ignited in roaring fury, leaving the flagship a blossoming inferno, a defiant human beacon in cold space. Barrett's voice thundered over their escape sounds. A confirmed relief and triumph in her tone. The Zaker fleet faltered, chaos in the explosion's wake, giving humanity more than hope, a chance. The Zaker flagship exploded in flames, fire engulfing metal and bodies. Pieces fell away, the flagship now just a space graveyard. Ships swerved without commanders. Tight formation collapsed. Ships crashed into each other. Disciplined pilots now panicked. Orders stopped from admirals. Silence on their communication channels. Barrett stood under tactical screen lights, his voice firm. He broke the quiet on the EF bridge. "All ships attack. Full assault," he said. The room burst with energy. Officers shouted orders. Operators readied defenses. Their weapons turned space rocks to dust. Before, now they would wreck enemy ships. Sweat dripped as fingers hovered over ignition switches. Cannons charging. Technician yelled. The room hushed, waiting. The hum of ion cannons rose, then fired beams of raw energy. Enemy ships exploded into husks. Cheers erupted but stopped. "Section for satellites gone," a radar operator shouted. Screens flickered as darkness enveloped. The cannons surged, too much. "Orbital defenses crippled." Barrett tasted bitterness. Earth exposed, defenses broken. Word spread below, cities to rural areas. Radios reported Earth's place in Zaker plans, a highway axis. This truth fueled their hunger for Earth. Earth is key ground, AA said urgently. They'll come back. Barrett watched monitors showing Earth's response. Civilians filled factories, trading goods for weapons. They shaped metal into guns, plastic into armor. Old soldiers trained the willing, squares, barns, wherever was open. Politicians echoed those ready to fight. Barrett barely heard them. He made guerrilla raids, ships setting out, hitting Zer supply lines, vanishing. Each raid cost fuel, ammo, Earth's dwindling reserves. In the war room, AA looked at the hologram of Earth's remaining defenses. Barrett leaned over the console, eyes circled from sleepless nights. Should we talk? A asked. Barrett's jaw tightened. We talk, we show weakness. They regroup, we die. He planned the next attack on the map. Red engagement paths. We hit their fuel next, he said coldly. Buy time to rebuild. Each strike scarred Earth, but one time the choice was clear, talk or sharpen swords. Barrett's mind raced with tactics and strategies as he prepared. In the midst of Camp Armstrong, he found himself surrounded by top military officials in a cramped steel room. The air was stale, and screens displayed countless Zaker ships approaching. Generals and leaders argued loudly, fearing another defeat. We can't fight them head-on after they beat us last time, one general said, wiping sweat off his forehead. Barrett slammed his hand on the metal table. We won't bow to these monsters. They see mercy as weakness, and we're not weak. The doors opened with a hiss, and 3 aliens from the last fight entered in colorful clothes. We've come to help Earth fight the Zer, one said in steady, accented words. Barrett nodded at AA, next to her blinking console. Her new tech was hooked into the room systems, listening as the aliens shared insider knowledge about Zer attack patterns, ship frequencies, and overconfidence. It was valuable information. The mood shifted from despair to determination. Human cunning combined with alien insight to form a battle plan. Mars was chosen for its orbits and dusty terrain. Barrett's orders rang through the ship. Get the fleet ready. We ambush at Mars with full force.
No retreat.
Their turf, our victory. AA's fingers flew across the keyboard, sending commands to prep Mars. Screens showed ship formations and attack plans. The cold math of war was running out as the Zer fleet sped closer. Each second mattered. Humans and allies gripped weapons, ready to meet the enemy headfirst at Mars. Dust swirled in the thin air. Earth ships hid behind moons and in canyons, waiting. We make our stand here, Barrett said. Faces around him echoed his determination. Today, we fight for all under Zer rule. The Zaker fleet approached like a coming storm, but on Mars, a spark of defiance was ready to erupt. The engines kicked up red dust as they roared to life on Mars. In the black sky above, our fighters danced with the dark Zaker ships, dodging and striking like boxers in a ring. My heartbeat pounded as lights flashed on the console. The odds looked bad, but Barrett's voice came over the radio, steady and commanding. Stay tight. Hit them hard and fast. A's fingers flew, hacking the Zaker signals. Their communications turned to chaos. The laser blasts barely missed, singing my fighters' paint. We tore into the Zer front line, and their ships scattered, breaking ranks. Alarms screamed as we took a hit, sparks erupting. The air hissed out as oxygen levels dropped. Barrett, we're hit. Oxygen failing. Copy. Stay awake, AA. Get them out. I drifted, the squad tumbling lifeless in space. Silence crept in as we gasped for vanishing air. Ice formed on the controls. Darkness threatened to take me until AA's voice cracked through. I'm coming. Hold on. She roared in, dodging debris to grab me. My lungs burned as I breathed borrowed air. We barely made it, space ready to swallow us whole. We regrouped behind Phobos and took stock, checked weapons, patched wounds. Rivers sent what looked like a battle update. A sliver of hope. We've taken their flagship. Barrett studied the map, tactical mind engaged. Good. Let's use their guns on them. He issued new orders, each word deliberate, each plan daring. Our allies nodded, faces steeled with purpose. The Zaker still pressed, their swarming ships adjusting to our surprise assault. The seized ship loomed, its guns turning on its own fleet, unleashing hell on those it once protected. Zer vessels broke apart in silence, tumbling tombs drifting in darkness. In the cold void around Mars, Earth's alliance fought on, bloodied but unbroken. Inside the ship, AA worked fast, screens filled with code as she typed. She sorted data, assembling the pieces to hack the Zer system. Barrett watched nearby, bandaged but focused. "This code is their weakness," Rivers said, pointing. No frills in her words, just the blunt facts that could cripple the Zaker. She explained her digital virus plan, tailored to blend the alien leaders. Barrett nodded curtly. That was all Harper needed to launch the mission. Harper gathered his team, 2 engineers, 2 soldiers, their eyes steady, hands sure. They boarded the Zer relay silently, ghosts moving through the alien structure, splitting up inside. Harper walked alone down a humming, blue-lit hallway. Gunshots rang out, human weapons firing, Z shrieking. Aliens swarmed the corridor, mandibles clicking, antennae twitching. The soldiers fired controlled bursts, dropping twitching Zaker bodies, their blue blood pooling. Harper pressed on as his team shrank. He reached the core covered in alien marks. He planted the device as AA instructed, triggering the spreading virus. Lights flickered. The station shuddered. A roar filled the relay as the virus crippled Zer systems. Back at camp, AA watched chaos unfold on screen. "Harper status," she demanded through the comms. "We did it, but not many of us left," Harper replied, breathing hard. "Get out now," AA commanded, no time for hesitation. They sprinted through crumbling halls to their ship as systems failed around them. AA saw their return on screen, her virus still unraveling Zer command. "It worked," she reported to Barrett. "They're in disarray." But the Zaker evolved fast, patching the breach with new code. Barrett stood, pain clear but resolute. "No time to waste. We strike them now," he stated. Camp bustled with urgent purpose. Fighters rolled out, filling the air, engines rumbling. Below, civilians rushed to shelters as sirens wailed, leaving the sky to the interceptors. Barrett donned his helmet visor, reflecting the battle ahead. "This is it," he said. "Make it count." As Earth braced for the Zika counterblow, the stakes were clear. Triumph or be forgotten. Space awaited Earth's answer. The battle alarm screamed. Barrett stood before his team as they readied for combat. "Hit them fast, hit them hard," he said. They sprinted to the ships, engines roaring as they blasted off, racing to the moon. On the moon, a deadly fight was on. Plasma lit up the darkness, and the space stations looked like forts under attack but still standing. Soldiers waited inside. Faces, set with determination, reflected the glow of explosions as Barrett's team landed amidst chaos. Dust floated up and slowly settled in the low gravity as they moved quickly toward the silver elevator spire. The control room was wrecked. Zer troops in shiny black armor chittered challenges. Barrett fired his rifle, the shots punctuating his movements as he took cover. Soldiers charged the Zer, shouting fiercely. Metal clashed. Gunfire boomed in the tight space. Sweat and blood floated freely as they grappled in low gravity. Back at base, AA worked fast, her fingers dancing on the keyboard. Screens streamed data as she reinforced the ion shield, muttering calculations barely heard over the drone launch. The drones zoomed past the windows toward the Z ships, swarming them, harassing them. AA's drones targeted engines and weapons, each small victory bringing hope against the attack. Suddenly, a Zaker dreadnought charged through, its massive guns turning toward Earth. Panic surged as the guns began to glow. Barrett saw and knew what must be done. "Strap in," he commanded. He gripped the controls, the ship pivoted, and flew straight at the dreadnought. In the control room, Rivers watched anxiously. She keyed the final code for the shield, praying it would hold. As Barrett's ship raced toward its target, she activated the shield. Blue light enveloped the dreadnought. Its blast reflected back and consumed it in a blinding flash. The dreadnought disintegrated, peeling away like burnt petals. Barrett's ship spun away, righting itself. The fleet hovered, scarred but alive. AA and Barrett met, reviewing the fleet and defenses, counting the dead, hardening with each number. "We held," AA finally said, with sorrow and pride. Barrett nodded, eyes on the hologram map. "We did. Now we prepare to fight again. They'll come back. We'll be ready," AA replied, already planning repairs. The air crackled with aftermath, along with deep resolve. Earth had held against the Zaker. The cost was high, but they would stand again. People moved bricks and metal on still damaged streets. Earth healed from the attack. Cranes lifted walls while workers shouted numbers over the din, dust blew from construction. Once armed soldiers now wore hard hats, their guns traded for tools. Screens and speakers talked about the dreadnought's destruction. Barrett walked the streets, unnoticed. His eyes approved the rebuilding. His mind raced with plans. Deep in Camp Armstrong, A sat amid monitors and open hardware, her hands adjusting circuits, glancing at engine schematics unlike any seen before, engines to bend space itself. Barrett entered the sealed room. Rivers looked up, code reflected in her eyes. "Quiet out there," he said. "For now," AA said, turning back to her work. "We can't wait for their return." Holograms floated strategies, shields, forts, armed satellites, new warships. Barrett considered them. "What if we strike them first?" he asked. A paused, soldering iron ready. "We've never attacked first," she said. "If we don't, they'll come again." We barely stopped them. At the round table, faces from Earth and allies met. A feathered alien suggested peace talks. "The Zur respects strength but may want a truce," it said. Others scoffed. "Show weakness, they'll finish us," a man said, fist clenched. Barrett's voice cut through the room. "No truce. We show them what attacking Earth means. We take the fight to them." Murmurs spread, some uneasy, some agreeing fiercely. AA finished adjustments on the warp drive. "We can have a fleet ready, armed, warp-capable." Barrett nodded. "Good. I have a plan. Operation Starhammer." In the briefing room, soldiers, pilots, and engineers surrounded a hologram of a distant star system, their targets marked in Zur space. "We warp in, hit their forward base," Barrett said, meeting their eyes. "Show the Zur that humans retaliate." Heads nodded, charged with purpose. Barrett's jaw was firm, eyes reflecting the star chart's glow. "We end this threat," he said. "Show the galaxy humanity as a force." A tech entered coordinates. Screens showed ships aligning to jump. Operation Starhammer commenced. The room echoed with boots and voices running drills. Earth's finest, grease-stained engineers and sharp-eyed soldiers, all had trained through countless simulations for Operation Starhammer. Barrett watched them gaze into the tense void. He'd handpicked them all for skill and focus. His voice stayed firm as he barked orders, demanding discipline for the days ahead. AA's fingers flew across keyboards, calibrating the new warp drive tech. It hummed, promising speed and stealth. She'd made sure they could jump right to the Zur's door. An alien ally, newly freed from Zur rule, gave them intel, maps, routes, details. They paraded over holograms, memorizing the enemy base. "You know what's at stake," Barrett said, voice low. The soldiers felt his words in their chests. They knew and were ready. Reports came as they prepared. The Zur fleet had changed course, engines flaring at the edge of sensors. A new attack, a fake. Barrett tucked the question away for later. First, they had a job. The warp drive spun up, bending reality as they slipped through space. They emerged in silence, a cold, dead void housing the Zur base. Scanner swept, no alarm sounded. "Ghosts here." Barrett led the way, movements quiet as death. Starhammer was more than an attack. It was a message. The Zur base felt like a maze of moving metal parts and death, red and green lights blinking from the many machines filling the place. It was built for efficiency, not comfort. Robot sentries stood guard, ready to kill any intruders. We moved in formation, going deeper into enemy ground. Plasma shots screamed past as we shot at the robots, their aim staying true as they fired back. We shot them down, their metal bodies slamming to the floor, but more kept coming to replace them. Our team shrank as bullets and mines found Johnson and Patel. They fought bravely until the end. We pushed to the key spots Barrett had picked out. Harper put explosives on the cold metal walls, soft beeps signaling they were set to blow. We had little time left. The longer we stayed, the less chance we had of getting out alive. We had to hit fast and escape faster. An arena of suffering suddenly appeared amid the steel hallways. Aliens labored under Zur whips, their cries echoing. Some had too many eyes. Some had none. Their screams held endless pain and lost hope. Barrett froze, thinking hard. "We can't abandon them," he said firmly, his voice cutting through the machine hum like a knife. The choice was made. We fired at the Zur masters, surprising them. Chains broke and cages opened. We yelled to the prisoners, "Run! Follow us if you want to live." They ran without hesitation. The freed prisoners found new strength, using claws, tentacles, anything to defy their captors. They charged forward, a tide of rage and desperation. We were no longer infiltrators but rebels. Together, we attacked the command center, humanity and aliens side by side. Zaker fell, their shells cracking under our onslaught. Barrett led the battle, firing and commanding. The first explosion hit as the final charge was set. Destruction tore through the base, the ground shook, and the ceiling crumbled. We all ran for the exit and for freedom. We raced through collapsing halls, jumping over yawning cracks. Smoke and dust choked the air. The base groaned about to die. Our ships idled, rumbling and promising escape. We crowded in, frantic to survive. Debris battered the ships as we pulled away from the dying base. The pilots kept steady hands on the controls, even as their hearts pounded. The base imploded behind us. Operation Starhammer had succeeded, striking a blow for Earth's determination and for freedom from oppression. As the wreckage faded, a new alliance was forged between soldiers and former slaves, ready for the next fight. The stars streaked across the cockpit window. The engines rumbled. Every face looked tense. Then the klaxons blared as the warning lights flashed red. Zaker ships followed close behind in warp space. "Steady now," Barrett said sharply, his hands flying across the console, steering towards an asteroid field spinning silently in the void. The Zur matched every turn, dodging rocks and dust clouds, engines whining and metal groaning. It was a deadly dance between the asteroids. One slip meant doom. The navigator's voice crackled over the comm. "Warp drives overheating." Barrett checked the console. "Not good." The coils were maxed out, and the shields draining fast. He made the call. "Cut power to non-essentials. Set a course away from Earth," he ordered. "We'll lead them on a chase." The ships veered, leaving Earth's path open. ACE code activated, hiding the fleet in digital stealth. The Zur scanners searched but found nothing. From the back, a freed slave spoke up over the noise, eager. She shared secrets only she knew of the Z. "Their empire is vast," she said, "but weak in the outer systems." Barrett listened closely as he dodged more enemy fire. He tucked away every detail for later. Another turn, another asteroid. The Zaker kept firing. A beam grazed the hull, alarm screaming. Damage reports flooded the comms. It was clear the chase would be their ruin. Barrett's jaw tightened. He flicked a switch, silencing the alarms. "We can't outlast them," he said sharply. "Now or never." He eyed the star map, set course for Denb. "We'll make our stand there." The battered ships aligned in defiance to face the Zur. The pursuers closed in, guns glowing with threat. "Fire on my mark," Barrett barked. The team waited breathless, fingers on triggers. Barrett watched and waited for the exact moment. Now, he cracked like a whip. The weapons blazed, shredding the void. The Zur ships twisted and turned to evade, but Barrett's aim held true. An enemy ship exploded in a blossom of fire. The battle raged, deadly bursts lighting up space. Ships spun and wove, firing constantly. Each hit on Barrett's shields shuddered through the fleet. In the heat of battle, a console sparked, and a screen went dark. Still, Barrett's fleet fought on, wills unbroken. One by one, the Zur ships faltered and fell until silence reclaimed space. Breathing hard, Barrett surveyed the damage. His ship was scarred and wounded by war, but they had won. The crew exhaled in relief and triumph in the stale bridge air. "We've done it," Barrett said, a grim smile on his face. "Now let's get home. Home and end this war." Barrett's ship landed on the tarmac. His boots hit the ground. Crowds of people cheered. Some held up handmade signs praising him. Politicians standing off to the side looked worried. A firmly shook his hand first, her eyes showing what they had been through. "Good job," she said, strong and clear, as he defended his neighborhood, while a teacher organized makeshift medical stations in abandoned classrooms. The rhythm of war echoed in every corner, from the roar of engines to the cries of the wounded. But amidst the chaos, there was a sense of unity, a shared determination to repel the invaders at any cost. Barrett's gaze swept across the battlefield, his eyes reflecting the flickering flames of resistance. He knew that victory would not come easily, but he also knew that they would not falter. They were Earth's last line of defense, and they would hold the line no matter what. As the battle raged on, Barrett and AA stood side by side, their bond forged in the crucible of war. They were the heart and soul of Earth's resistance, guiding their troops with unwavering resolve. Together, they faced the storm head-on, leading humanity in its darkest hour. And as the sun rose on the battered cityscape, a new day dawned for Earth. The invaders had been repelled, their advance halted by the sheer tenacity of humanity. The streets may have been scarred by war, but they were also filled with hope for a future where Earth stood strong and free. Barrett looked out over the city, a sense of pride swelling in his chest. They had faced the impossible and emerged victorious. And as he surveyed the scene before him, he knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, Earth would always rise to meet them, united, defiant, and unbreakable. The tech quickly relayed the information, his fingers flying over the console as he decrypted the data. "Commander, we've got detailed schematics of their fleet formations, supply routes, and encryption codes," he reported, his voice filled with urgency. "This could be the breakthrough we've been waiting for." Barrett's eyes gleamed with determination as he processed the information. This was their chance to gain the upper hand, to turn the tide of the war in Earth's favor. "Get that data back to the flagship," he ordered, his voice cutting through the tension on the bridge. "And prepare to transmit it to our allies. It's time to strike back." As the shuttle sped back towards the flagship, Barrett's mind raced with possibilities. With the enemy's secrets laid bare before them, they could launch targeted strikes, disrupt supply lines, and cripple their defenses. Earth and her allies would fight as one, united in their quest for victory. Back on the flagship, AA awaited the arrival of the data, her fingers poised over the controls. When the shuttle docked, she wasted no time in accessing the information, her eyes scanning the data with expert precision. "This is it," she murmured, her voice filled with determination. "With this, we can turn the tables on the Zur." Barrett nodded, his jaw set with determination. "Prepare the transmission," he ordered, his voice ringing out across the bridge. "Send it to every Allied fleet, every resistance cell, every corner of the galaxy. Let them know that Earth stands ready to fight." As the transmission went out, a ripple of hope spread across the stars. From distant planets to hidden rebel bases, the message was received. Earth had uncovered the enemy's secrets, and they were ready to fight back. The battle for Saturn raged on, but now Earth's forces fought with renewed vigor. Armed with the enemy's own intelligence, they struck with precision and purpose, their determination unyielding. And as the enemy fleet faltered under Earth's relentless assault, Barrett stood tall on the bridge of his flagship, his eyes fixed on the stars. Victory was within their grasp, and nothing would stand in their way. Earth would prevail no matter the cost. Barrett's words hung heavy in the war room, the gravity of his decision weighing on every soul present. Rivers met his gaze, her eyes reflecting the turmoil of uncertainty. "You think they'll cave so easy?" she asked, her voice steady amidst the tension. Barrett leaned on the table, his expression grave as he surveyed the maps before him. "They're rattled but cornered beasts bite," he replied, his tone resolute. "I won't risk Earth on their word alone." His words echoed through the room, each member of his team absorbing the weight of his decision. They knew the stakes were high, that any misstep could spell disaster for their homeworld and the fragile peace they had fought so hard to achieve. As they prepared for the uncertain future ahead, Barrett's resolve remained unwavering. He would not falter in his duty to protect Earth and her people, even in the face of uncertainty and doubt. Outside, the war raged on, but in the war room of Camp Armstrong, the battle for peace was just beginning. And as Barrett and his team braced themselves for the challenges to come, they knew that their courage and determination would be tested like never before. But they were ready to fight, ready to endure, ready to ensure that the future of Earth remained in their hands. The door hissed open, and an aide entered, saluting. "Sir, the Zur sent terms for the ceasefire," he reported, his voice tinged with apprehension. Barrett's eyes narrowed, his demeanor serious as he focused on the incoming information. The aide swallowed nervously, sensing the weight of the moment. "They mentioned reparations and freeing slaves, but it's vague," he continued, his words hanging in the tense air. Barrett exhaled sharply, his patience wearing thin. "Vague is useless. Get me their flagship. We speak leader to leader," he commanded, his voice cutting through the tension like a blade. The aide nodded, acknowledging the order, before swiftly exiting the room. Rivers remained silent, her hands poised over the controls, ready to assist Barrett in any way she could. Barrett turned to her, his expression determined. "I want full disclosure from them. No hidden agendas or secret deals. If they want peace, it must guarantee safety for all," he declared, his tone leaving no room for misunderstanding. Ava nodded, her face reflecting both concern and trust in equal measure. "Make sure we don't pay for their definition of peace," Barrett added, his voice firm and resolute. "Trust me, Ava." Any double dealing and we hit them hard. I won't gamble Earth's future on their honor. His words reverberated through the room, each member of his team absorbing the gravity of the situation. They knew that the path to peace was fraught with uncertainty, but they also knew that they had to remain vigilant and steadfast in their resolve to protect Earth at all costs. As they awaited further developments, the war room buzzed with activity, officers moving with purpose as they prepared for whatever lay ahead. Outside, the people of Earth watched and waited, their hopes for peace mingled with the ever-present specter of war. In the quiet moments before the next crucial step, Barrett steeled himself for the challenges to come. The fate of millions hung in the balance, and he knew that the decisions he made in the coming hours would shape the future of Earth and its allies for generations to come. His heart swelling with a mix of emotions as he saw the flicker of hope in the boy's eyes. It was moments like these that fueled his resolve to continue the fight for peace, no matter how challenging the road ahead may be. As the construction crew worked tirelessly to rebuild the city, Barrett remained on the platform, addressing the crowd with words of encouragement and reassurance. Together, we will rise from the ashes stronger than before, he declared, his voice carrying a sense of determination that resonated with those gathered before him. Amidst the noise of the construction site, Barrett's words echoed in the hearts of the people, instilling them with a newfound sense of purpose and unity. They looked to him as a beacon of hope, a symbol of resilience in the face of adversity. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the city, Barrett and AA stood side by side, surveying the progress being made. Despite the challenges that lay ahead, they knew that they were not alone in their quest for peace. Together, they would continue to rebuild and heal one step at a time. With a renewed sense of determination, Barrett and AA turned their gaze towards the future, ready to face whatever challenges may come their way. For them, the fight for peace was far from over, but with each passing day, they moved one step closer to realizing their vision of a better tomorrow. Barrett's words echoed with authority, instilling a sense of urgency and purpose in the room. As the team sprang into action, plans were quickly put into motion to provide aid to the people of Vistoria. Rivers coordinated efforts with precision, ensuring that every resource was utilized effectively. In the midst of chaos and devastation, Earth's allies stood united, offering their support and solidarity. Ships loaded with supplies and medical aid were dispatched to Vistoria, their arrival a beacon of hope amidst the destruction. Barrett watched from the command center as relief efforts unfolded, his heart heavy with the weight of responsibility. But he knew that this was what they fought for, not just to protect Earth, but to extend a helping hand to those in need across the galaxy. Days turned into weeks as the rebuilding process began in Vistoria. Earth's assistance proved invaluable, providing much-needed support to the struggling population. As homes were rebuilt and communities slowly started to heal, Barrett felt a sense of pride knowing that they had made a difference. But amidst the relief efforts, whispers of a new threat emerged. Rumors of unrest in distant galaxies and reports of skirmishes along the outer rim put Earth on high alert once again. Barrett knew that peace was fragile, and that they could not afford to let their guard down. With each passing day, he and his team remained vigilant, ready to face whatever challenges the future may bring. As the sun set on another day, Barrett stood on the observation deck, gazing out at the stars. In the vast expanse of space, he saw both beauty and danger, a reminder of the delicate balance they fought to maintain. But amidst the uncertainty, one thing remained clear. As long as there were those willing to fight for peace, there would always be hope for a brighter tomorrow. And for Barrett and his team, that hope was enough to keep them moving forward, one step at a time. AA watched as her team worked tirelessly to analyze samples from the Alisyn belt. The outbreak posed a serious threat, and every moment counted in their race to contain it. With swift precision, they identified the source of the infection and developed a plan to prevent its spread. Meanwhile, Barrett coordinated with allied forces to deploy medical ships and quarantine protocols in the affected regions. Their efforts were met with resistance from some corners, but Barrett remained resolute in his determination to protect the galaxy from further harm. As the crisis unfolded, Earth's allies rallied together, pooling their resources and expertise to combat the outbreak. Through collaboration and unity, they were able to contain the infection and prevent a catastrophic spread. In the aftermath, Barrett and AA stood side by side, surveying the aftermath of the crisis. Though the scars of the outbreak would linger, they took solace in knowing that their actions had saved countless lives and strengthened the bonds of their alliance. With each challenge they faced, Barrett and AA grew more determined to build a future where peace and prosperity could flourish. Together, They forged a path forward, guided by their unwavering commitment to the greater good. And as they looked to the stars, they knew that their journey was far from over, but with courage and perseverance, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As AA moved through the aging corridors of the spacecraft, her mind buzzed with calculations and possibilities. This mission was unlike any other, a journey into the unknown depths of space, guided by the beacon of hope and exploration. Her team worked diligently, preparing equipment and running diagnostics to ensure a smooth voyage. Each member understood the gravity of their mission, the potential for discovery balanced against the risks of the void. In the command center, Barrett monitored their progress, his steady presence a source of reassurance for the crew. Together, they navigated through uncharted territories, their determination unwavering in the face of uncertainty. As they ventured deeper into the cosmic expanse, AA's thoughts turned to Earth, to the people whose lives were shaped by their endeavors. She felt a surge of pride knowing that their efforts were paving the way for a brighter future, not just for humanity, but for all beings across the galaxy. With each passing moment, they drew closer to their destination, the distant stars beckoning them forward with the promise of discovery and adventure. And as they journeyed onward, their spirits soared, fueled by the boundless possibilities of the cosmos. AA approached the hologram, her gaze fixed on the intricate network of connections stretching across the stars. Each link represented a bond forged through cooperation and shared knowledge, a testament to the unity that had guided them through the challenges of the cosmos. As she studied the display, memories of their journey flashed through her mind, from the discovery of ancient relics to the formation of treaties and alliances. She marveled at how far they had come, how much they had achieved together. But amidst the triumphs, she also saw the shadows of uncertainty and conflict looming on the horizon. The galaxy was vast and unpredictable, filled with mysteries yet to be unraveled and challenges yet to be overcome. Turning to face her team, AA's expression was resolute. "We've come a long way," she said, her voice echoing with determination. "But our journey is far from over. There are still worlds to explore, still discoveries to be made. And as long as we stand together, there's nothing we can't face." With renewed resolve, AA and her team continued their work, their efforts fueled by the knowledge that they were part of something greater, a shared vision of peace, exploration, and understanding that stretched across the stars. And as they delved deeper into the mysteries of the universe, they carried with them the hope of a brighter future for all beings, united in their quest for knowledge and harmony. As the ceremony came to an end, a sense of fulfillment settled over Barrett and AA. They had dedicated their lives to the cause of unity and resilience, and now, as they stood together, they felt the weight of their legacy and the promise of a brighter future stretching out before them. Gazing out at the twinkling stars, Barrett felt a surge of pride knowing that they had built a foundation upon which others could continue to build. But even as they prepared to step back from the forefront, their commitment to the pursuit of knowledge and exploration remained steadfast. "I never expected to see you as a teacher," Barrett remarked, breaking the quiet moment between them. "After everything we've been through, someone's got to make sure it goes on," AA replied with a chuckle, her eyes reflecting the passion that had driven them both for so long. Barrett looked out at the horizon, contemplating the possibility of retirement. "Are you thinking of retiring now?" AA asked, sensing his thoughts. He turned to her with a half-smile. "Just promise you'll still look to the stars in wonder. Don't think I could stop if I tried." Their bond was as strong as ever, forged through years of shared challenges and triumphs. Together, they had navigated the complexities of diplomacy and exploration, leaving behind a legacy that would endure for generations to come. As night fell on Xander Prime, they stood side by side, their hearts filled with gratitude for the journey they had taken together and the countless possibilities that lay ahead. And as they looked to the future, they knew that their work was far from over, for the galaxy was vast, and there were still mysteries waiting to be uncovered, adventures waiting to be had. But no matter where their paths may lead, one thing was certain. They would always be bound by a shared vision of unity, resilience, and the endless quest for knowledge. And as they watched the stars twinkle in the distance, they knew that their legacy would live on, a beacon of hope guiding others toward a future of limitless potential.